Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Age of Empires 4 replay. Spawn on the right side is the pink English, we've got JIF music. Spawn on the left side is the magenta or hot pink Chinese, we've got Lord_Voldemort. These two colors are very similar, hopefully I don't get those two mixed up. And my apologies for those who have some vision impairment, I can't change these colors, at least I don't think so. I don't see anything I can change the color with. Because I know when it comes to when I cast games in Advanced Wars by web, you can change the colors, and people do ask me occasionally, hey, I have trouble telling these two colors apart, can you please change them? Because some people don't realize until later that they just don't see all the colors. My old man has red-green color blindness, which makes my sister a carrier, because it goes on the X chromosome. Either way, when it comes to map generation, gold deposit up front makes it exposed, this a little bit down south, less exposed. Chinese versus English, I have a good feeling it's going to be a pretty big economic game. Abbey King is going on up, we've got the Imperial Academy going on up. Up north, looks like both stone deposits spawn on one side of the river, while this side has both gold deposits. Though this case is pretty spread out, but this is very close by each other. Let's see, the English would be better for the stone. I suppose they are both relatively equal in stone, aren't they? Or requirements for stone, I should say. Because some civilization has benefits it keeps, but none of these civilizations do. Sure, English has keeps access to all production structures, but that's about it. And Chinese, of course, has a good defensive garrison with the hand cannoneer slits, but that's about it. We do have, of course, the Imperial Academy going on up. We've got the Abbey Kings going for his first king. Got a mill going on the field. I wonder if anyone's going for fast castle for economic boom. Looks like English player, not going for any stone, not going for a massive pile of wood, so it looks like he is going for a fast castle. Chinese player may go for Song Dynasty. Going for some horsemans. And looks like the king's heading down south. Got a village here. Horseman here. Two horsemen. I actually don't know who wins the fight between two horsemen and a king. With the town center there. I'll let the official take the shot there, so absorbs the charge damage. Granted, the king doesn't actually have super high DPS. That attack speed is slower than a horseman. And my off-aim map trying to do the DPS is not great, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, it looks like two horsemen. Granted, they got a lot of free damage on him. We'll defeat the king and outpace him. The king tried to go for a charge attack there, but I think, not sure if he actually got the charge there or not. I think he may have done. I didn't hear the sound. Is that professional scouts? We do have professional scouts for the Chinese. The king needs to fall back. He's just trying to stall out for the outpost to be built. Fires her big round short bows. Now here's the Abbey Kings, which is 6 health regen per second. It'd be a good idea to king stick around there. Did manage to pick off one of the horsemen thanks to the short bows and to the not short bows in the town center. But I think the king needs to fall back. I have no idea who wins that fight. Looks like king is falling back to Abbey. Very nice. I really wish people use the Abbey more often as a healing point, because it feels like people really do forget about it. I always make him goes to the King's Palace over the White Tower, which is a secondary town center. Very nice. But I always like to point out that Command & Conquer players understand pulling back units to the war factor to get healed on up. We have now survival techniques being researched by the Chinese player as well. 8 villagers there trying to obtain Pumbaa, and his Akuna Matata will be greatly disturbed. They could help him out to guarantee an easier kill. The king is advancing. The scout aggravates Pumbaa, which actually now diverts attention onto the king, interrupts a bit of health regen. Charge attack there, Bardic in the Sun, which will give him Song Dynasty. Here's Age Up. I wonder if he'll cancel Bardic Sun to go for a Castle Age himself. Pumbaa's still very angry. Yeah, when it comes to people don't realize how dangerous boar are. This boar might actually be too small to be historically accurate, believe it or not. I read online that wild boar, while they're on average between 200 and 300 pounds, that, or let's just say approximately 100 kilograms, they can actually get up to like 500 pounds wild. And for comparison, a bear, a male bear, can be 500 pounds as well. Boar can weigh as much as a bear. That is actually quite absurd. It's also one reason why he's also Conquistador's best friend as well, because they're very durable, they're very robust, they are very adaptable. And looks like this horseman may go down, does pull it back in time. Don't send it back in, it's not a boar. I guess you want to secure the kill on the king. And a scout does do bonus damage to scouts. Horseman and scout trying to intercept. Does pick off the scout there. The scout will skip on out there. Right now the Chinese player has 4 scouts in the field. No more horsemen to deal with the king. King has 35 health remaining and has 3 armor. His damage up to 20, so much higher now. Imperial Palace being blown in the field, does take a snapshot, does not receive another shot there, and that would have finished him off. Imperial Palace is going on up, which is effectively a light tower, which honestly, while usually the, the astronomical clock tower is just generally better, this map is very laney. There's 4 quote-unquote lanes, which usually fall between the top and the middle one. The lighthouse will provide an excellent vision for the middle one. I don't think it will skim too much up here. One villager does go down. First villager death of the game, which I'm actually surprised, seeing how aggressive the king's been in this game. Got a knight here. Just say good night. We got 4 Lancers in the build queue versus 3 English Knights, and looks like it's the heavy cav play. But 2 civilizations do not have or focus on the cavalry. Scouts just providing extra mass here. They won't do much other than absorb from shots, which is honestly not a bad thing at the moment. Knight does get peeled off. Scouts heading up north. We got some venison still here, as was a knight to cause issue. Knight here slices part of the village that looks like a already wounded one. King's at 21 health. Lancer pursuing Knight. The king is ever so slightly faster than Knights, but of course as farther it gets away, they have the charge effect. Knight and Lancer engage each other, but the more Lancers push it forward, it'll be easy win for the Chinese. Monk here. No, going for a dry healing on the knight would not save. Going straight for the monk there, because 1, he's able more likely to secure the kill. 2, it's actually a priority target, because gotta deny the relics. Speaking of relics, okay, that's workers kills. That's sheep 16 to 12. I think my broken mouse. Pink's obtained 2 relics and picked up a 3rd. And this one here and here. So these are the last 2 relics that have not been touched yet. We got 5 Lancers, 2 Knights, 1 King. Make that 7 Lancers now. Granted, there's a mix of health. Knights trying to find choke points. And Chinese Lancers do rotate around a little bit more. I really do think I see all these Voodoo guys fall back to get some healing. According to the mini-map, this area is not traversable. If you look closely, it is foliage there, solid green foliage. We do now have the relics being picked on up by both sides. That monk's going to become extra holy now. Oh, we do have the king getting some excellent AoE health regen. AoE, of course, stands for Age of Empires, right? We do have some hardened spearmans. So far the spearmans received no upgrades. Remember, the English. Yeah. Which is a good supplement to force deal with the Lancers. The Lancers have took a bit of damage across the line. The Knights did not receive too much health regen here. I think the Chinese player will win out. The king is dead. And when it comes to destroyed value, we do have 18 versus 21. So it looks like the English player has pulled ahead. I don't see any cancelled structures to inflate that. That line still sounds like Hitler's good. Yeah. I know there's a lot of games, like a lot of complications of audio lines from various games that people mistook. Not a bitch, I've seen that with some artwork as well. Like Solaris' hand/spaceship, the Civ 5's library, old man clutching book versus guy relaxing on bench. Monk going on down. The relic has been obtained. So it looks like Magenta has picked it on up. It's more of a hot pink than Magenta, isn't it? Magenta's a bit more purple. I don't know. Astronomical clock tower now deployed on the field. I'm just gonna call it Magenta, just distinguish it from pink, because this is clearly pink, aka lightish red. Yeah, back when Rooster Teeth was around and was good. So this is the astronomical clock tower. So this is an early Yuan dynasty. He only has 2 relics for 2 pagodas. It also gives access to an early Fire Lancers and what was the age up benefits? Song Dynasty to Yuan. Yuan increases speed, right? So now all of his cavalry, including his knights, move fast. Now his lancers, I should say, move also slightly slower than a horseman at 1.87 versus 1.88. Right now, Yuan Dynasty right now is just interesting. Because usually Yuan Dynasty is something players don't usually get until their Imperial age. But Yuan Dynasty in age 3 is just largely unheard of. He, of course, now, like I said, he has access to pagodas and Fire Lancers. He's fighting against a good number of Spearmen, so Fire Lancers are not a good option. Good amount of damage there. Yeah, I think he wants some mobility. I mean, fast moving cavalry. I mean, right now, Sengoku Daimyo makes use of very fast cavalry for just a passive upgrade. I suppose it's or an active upgrade for one of their ways. So I guess the Chinese version. Sorry, my microphone is one Chinese version of that. The king is dead. Lancers are advancing. Also, you should see Yuan Dynasty with the Imperial Guard, or not Imperial Guard, Palace Guard. What's the term again? My mind's a bit melted at the moment. There goes that Lancer, torches down the outpost, and we'll lose some Lancers to a healthy number of Spearmen. Why am I having trouble remembering the name for the guard? Yeah, I think I'm out of it. Huh, did they update this icon? Looks like they updated icons here. I don't remember that having double layer. Was there a recent balance patch? Need to double check that. Alright, so heading back up north. Got some spearmen here. I suppose it's one way to help it differentiate it. Rather than just tiny little dots, it's a bit more noticeable. Rather than two dots, it's also two planks, boards, plates, and two dots. Which is simple and effective. Same thing over here, huh? Looks like they did update the icons there. Crossbow firing away. Crossbow, a good call for the Chinese player. Right now, Zunchus as well as regular archers would be very nice though. +1 melee damage for the Chinese player. A very large number of horsemen for the English players. Pagoda was actually built, but quickly torched on down. A little bit exposed they are. Spawning, pushing forward his own spearmen. Crossmen are reasonable versus spearmen. Not necessarily a hard counter, but they are more or less a soft counter. It's enough Chinese spearmen on the front line to hold back the English spearmen. Though right now when it comes to destroyed value, Magenta actually has a much higher destroyed value. I thought he would be less with all the Lancers going down. He still has 6 Lancers of field, which is not too much. Horsemen heading over here, finding some villagers and crossbowmans. Chinese player going for more spear is a good call since there's a large number of horsemen on the field. Going for the Imperial Palace now. Not even veteran horseman research. That would be very useful right now. It does have the king on the field. Long live the king. I also really hated how the icons are backwards. We do have the horseman taking some damage here. Spearmen push forward, hitting the spearmen. Crossbowmans are advancing. We have now the veteran horseman research on the way for the Chinese or the English player. He's relatively far away from aging up at the moment. This Chinese player has enough gold and then some to age up. Oh, up north we do have a... They also changed the keep icon? Huh. Not sure why they changed the keep icon, but it looks like they did. Notice something else. Palace guards. Palace guards now being employed in the field. One thing they come out with all the spearmen is core spring golds. He has astronomical clock tower, so going for clockwork spring golds would be half bad. Large stone gold down here, not touched. Horsemen on patrol, just trying to keep the monks away. Let's see, got 2 granaries on the field. Taxes being withdrawn from them. Horsemen engaging the villager. Horsemen over here. Spearmen and Palace Guard now engaging. Over here, got some more crossbowmen. The Palace Guard at least will be very useful against the Horsemen, as will Spearmen, so overall Palace Guard is a good call. The English player has a handful of Longbow in the field, so he has a veteran Longbow. And the English player is just pumping out trash units. I'm sort of surprised he's able to maintain it. He has a max out population. The Chinese player doesn't even have a max out cap. You have the Spring Golem placement here on the Bardic of the Sun, very nice. The English player is just trying to go for a horde of units, of cheap units, trash units, and not spending all the gold that's on the map. King getting a good health regen here. Now amount of spear in the field. Good idea for both sides to go for archers, Zinchus, and longbowmen. Right now there's only 7th and 8th longbowmen on the build queue. Okay. Just had to double check, since I didn't realize it's a balanced patch. Just had to double check, make sure spearmen are not still 80 resources, horsemen still 100, crossmen still 120. Nope, looks like the king is dead. And the Chinese player will hold on, but some of the horsemen do find some of these villagers, going for a keep here to help keep these villagers alive. 2 pagodas, providing a good amount of resources at the moment. The keep looks like got cancelled there. These horsemen being cleaned on up, so we've got some horsemen over here. Right now the Chinese player has 82 villagers versus 45, but only has 55 military units, and the English player has 119. Wait, no, I'm getting those numbers mixed up, aren't I? The English player has 120 villagers. I got them upside down, while the Chinese players got called down to 54. Holy crap. The English player does have the Palace of King. King's Palace. Abbey of Kings. The Palace of Kings. I'm a little bit out of it today. Someone was like, oh yeah, that's a lot of militaries. No, that's civilians. But the King's Palace is starting to go on down, which does take out secondary town center. And the Chinese player got off Song Dynasty quite early, so he doesn't have the faster villager production. And only has 1 town center at the moment. At this rate, he may need to get a second, if not tertiary town center. And the Chinese player does have 3,000 gold where he can purchase an age up at that. I think he has enough gold to purchase enough food for that. Spearmen starting to engage. We've got the spearmen pushed forward. The Chinese player does have 77 military units versus 28. Has economy money for it as well. Over here, the English player is out of food, wood, and pretty much out of gold, and not a usable amount of stone. Maybe a good idea to sell off at 300 stone and buy stuff. Or it looks like the Chinese player is going to be trying to close up the game now. And the Abbey Kings and Town Center is here, so there's his Annihilation Trio. Handful of Longbow wouldn't be happy about the English player. He's going for another king. Long live the king. And we have now a keep being established here. The king is dead, not a big surprise. The king is dead. Will there be another king being employed on the queue? Looks like not at the moment. Keep going on up. Chinese player got up to 64 villagers. Does have secondary towns that are on the field now. Build the keep next to the capital, so has 30 villager storage here, which also means a lot of extra arrows. And Chinese players going to fall back. At this point in time, he needs to get out some battery ramps. Probably doesn't have siege engineers. Nope, no siege engineers. Got the third granary now has been established. Do have multiple English keeps up here, providing quite a bit of presence. I don't know if the Chinese player even seen those yet. Let's see. Do you have the Chinese player here? Fog of War. Oh. Oh wait, I thought the... it doesn't look like he's made a spot the keeps, but then again, I don't think this is a perfect since it doesn't show the stuff that he has seen back here. Right now, the army size is quite similar. Army value is in favor of the Chinese player by 3,000 or 50% more at this one. Wolo, and that's actually a pretty good Wolo, though the monk does get sniped with its range units. There's enough frontline units to keep it safe. We've got now a number of longbow in the field. Very good. Both players just throwing trash onto the field. Chinese player has, okay, good, only 4 villagers on gold. Like for that stockpile of gold, I understand not pulling everyone off, but he doesn't even need the 4 on there. And looks like the Chinese player was unable to steal any of these relics. That would have been great. At least one more to get the third pagoda deployed and loaded. Looks like 2 of these villager or horsemen got trapped. Organ Guard Palace not being deployed in the field. I didn't realize the English player had enough resources to age up. This land, the King's Palace has not been repaired. Right now against his opponent's army, the Wooden Guard footmen and the Wooden Guard Rangers both be excellent. You now have enclosures being researched. Great Wall Gatehouse now being deployed in the field. Actually, I'm trying to figure out where it's being deployed in the field. Way back here. Something to keep the farming alive, or at least protected. Very nice. Imperial official trying to be sniped. Horsemen almost go down there. And now Chinese player does have enough gold to go for Ming Dynasty, which I don't know if Grenadiers would be very good right now. Trebuchet is engaging the keep up here, very nice. Horse managed to break on in onto those crossbowmen. Elite spearmen and elite crossbowmen now being deployed in the field. Chinese player right now still going for more horsemen, no fire lancers yet. Going for level 3 range armor. Another keeping south here to help keep the stone. This keeps on fire. crossbowmen and spearmen pushing forward. We do have some Chinese hand cannoneers, or a hand cannoneer in the field. Of course, they do have excellent upgrade of pyrotechnics, increase their range to 5.5. Making them also one of the best gunpowder hand cannoneer units in the entire game. We do have Tideborn Beers, English player, Elite Knights, and Elite Spearmen. Looks like the Chinese player managed to consume all of his gold and needs to start pushing forward to claim more gold deposits from these keeps. Still, this one has been touched. This one has not been touched. The English player has been primarily getting gold from his opponent's side of the map, which is very good for him. Horsemen do get knocked out. Couple knights push right forward. More of the Chinese horsemen are advancing. Over here, we do have horsemen there. These horsemen are pushed way forward. Chinese crossmen being pushed on forward. Got these horsemen are advancing. Still unity, so these horsemen are blistering fast. Crossbowmen are advancing with some more spearmen in reserve. We got elite army attacks for the Chinese player as well. Overall, we do have most of these crossbow here, so Palace Guard are definitely a bad idea. We do have now the Warren Guard Raiders now being deployed in the field, which is a dirt cheap, fast deployment cavalry unit. If there's any nerf on one of those patched, it'd probably be that production speed. Nope, still seems the same. Very, very good. But I am biased of Warren Guard Rangers. Got a pair of outposts here for the network of citadels. Crossbow flying back. Good setup up there by the crossbowmen. Takes out one of those outposts now. Horsemen push away forward. Knights being picked on off now. Crossbowmen intercepting. And the English player still has full dominance on the gold up north. Chinese player is trying to obtain this gold deposit but having trouble. This gold deposit has been eaten as well. The English player just maintaining pretty much full gold control. So the longer the game goes on, the better the English will do. Chinese player only have to basically have to rely on taxes in order to get gold generation, which can be very nice. I always wondered if players were to able to map out the grannies a little bit better to promote tax collection. After all, if you would encircle them around the Imperial Academy, they will get more gold generation. And if you were to, say, put a little T or triangle of granaries around it, it could potentially be a good tax drop-off location, as well as providing extra taxes. Reloading drills now being researched now. Both sides have a good number of horsemen. We also got a Chinese archer here. Chinese player does have elite crossmen, elite horsemen versus elite horsemen and elite crossbowmen with elite spearmen on both sides. Now we've got 8 hand cannoneers for the Chinese player. Doesn't have too much gold reserve though to pull out more hand cannoneers. The English player does have 25 and a pretty good healthy queue of them. Though with the pyrotechnics, the hand cannoneers are simply just going to be superior for the Chinese player. Neither side has serpentine gunpowder just yet. Bombard being repaired on up. And Canary firing away, getting some good hits. Bombards get some good hits there. Got Spearmen and Horsemen straight forward. And now we do have Biology being researched by a Chinese player. The English player already has Biology. Serpentine gunpowder now being researched by the English player. Very nice. Bombards bombarding away. Chinese player is actually out of food at the moment. There's some taxes here from the claim. It has 4 imperial officials. We do now have the Bardic and the Sun taking more and more damage. Bardic and Sun is still on fire. Hand cannoneers versus hand cannoneers. Certain gunpowder's now been researched, so they will get some bonus damage versus light melee. And thanks to the network of citadels here, they've got also much faster attack speed. Not light melee, just regular melee. Archers get bonus damage versus light melee. Imperial Palace is going down. Horseman gets some good damage there. Spearman push on the flank. Does find some Horseman Spear engaging each other. Hand cannoneers are advancing. Chinese right now has 16 hand cannoneers versus 10, with 10 more on the build queue versus 6 more on the build queue. So right now the Chinese player is doing better on hand cannoneers, but only slightly. The palace does go down, which will deny his lighthouse. Horseman so straightforward. Bardic and Sun has been saved, which is good defensive placement. Outpost here providing some extra attack or attack speed capabilities. Got another elite knight in the field. Looks like got 2 elite knights for the English player, maybe from Roaring Guard Raiders. We have some Roaring Guard Rangers not being full in the field, which is an excellent unit. Also going for Silk Bowstring. With their immense extra range, this should be a very good counter to those Chinese hand cannoneers. Not to mention, I think they still retain the bonus damage versus light gunpowder, like archers and longbowmen. Against all the horsemen as he's been fighting against, he can always go for Roaring Guard footmen, but right now the Chinese player has not been building too many more horsemen. Double layering the walls with stone, and English player does have all sacred sites with another 4 minutes 30 seconds to victory. Chinese player will need to stop that soon, or else he just outright loses the game. Just like he all just did. player has 1,000 gold in reserve. The Chinese player is scrimping the ball and barrel. Has 500 gold per minute, which may have been from relics and from taxes. They try to flank those bombards. Chinese player does not have enough stone for a keep to help keep that sacred site secure. Horsemen attacking these units now. More hand cannoneers here. I don't see the Royal Guard Rangers. There's some Royal Guard Rangers. Yep, they get plus 12 versus light gunpowder, so I think that's even higher than normal hand cannoneer or archers or longbowmen. And right now they have a staggering 9 range, so they're able to range these hand cannoneers no problem. He does to catch and sell them, sacred site there. Looks like some of these units got their way back there and cleaned on up. Got some lancers here, or knights and horsemen on both sides. This gold deposit is currently untouched as well. That's right, the Chinese player needs to put all imperial officials collecting taxes, particularly from the granaries at the current rate. Actually, this one's been cleaned on up, this one has 700. Honestly, deploying a town center nearby for a better drop-off point is probably a good idea. All town centers act as a drop-off point for taxes. And Chinese player does have only 90 villagers at the moment. English player did a good job of calling them down. English player is missing now 2 in melee armor and 1 in melee attack. The melee armor would be useful when fighting against spearmen and horsemen. Royal Guard Rangers activate their arrow volley there. They are focused on hand cannoneers. And looks like the Chinese horsemen do manage to break on through. He has plenty of wood right now and some food to work with. Takes another knight there. More horsemen and knights push their way forward. And Cannoneers firing away, getting some good damage. And Cannoneers forward, getting some more damage. These guys are falling back, trying to keep the distance. These guys are just general A move forward. It's always a good feeling when you're on general A move forward for your backline units. Chinese hand cannoneers trying to focus on the English hand cannoneers. Of course, do outrange them. Both sides still sending a wave of horsemen and spearmen into each other, just causing mountains of corpses. I think if corpses had collision in this game. Monk goes down there. We do have the Southern Six Side captured by the Chinese player this time. More horsemen push right forward. He did run out of the Royal Guard Rangers. And looks like some of these bombards getting overrun by the horsemen. Does lose one of those bombards, very nice. And cannoneers in the mix of the horsemen as well, which is not great for them either. Looks like some of these horsemen trying to torch down this keep, getting some good damage there. Chinese hand cannoneers still have pretty good numbers. We're now 18 on the field, 2 more in the build queue, versus the 17 with the English player. Does have 8 more in the build queue. Try to continue building that keep now. There is 1,500 gold here, which is a workable amount for the Chinese player, who's been on no gold for quite some time. Keep's now built. Villagers to get inside. Nice set of specs there with the hand cannoneers. Those horsemen still being picked on apart. Bombard does get saved. And a big round of Chinese horsemen. Looks like the Chinese players are not going to mind to collect up the rest of that gold. What's left of it, at least. Afterwards, you can start collecting up the stone, which is still near perfect amount. Only 14 or 16 pebbles been removed. They were very nice rocks. They're probably the very round, smooth ones in perfect circles. Villager getting picked off by the knights, very nice. Horseman does find some English villagers. Actually finally got the final economic farming tech for the Chinese player with +3 melee armor. Very useful when fighting against the lower damage units such as the horsemen. Knights being pursued. Villagers are getting impaled. And slowly being picked apart there. We do have over here English hand cannoneers before. Looks like the lighthouse goes down again. Bombard here. Forward walls here. Those not a full wall off, looks like. Nice still moving around, but being hit by spearmen. The Chinese player, I don't think has ever once been above 100 villagers this entire game. Last of gold just been obtained. Great gatehouse firing away. We now have the siege works upgrade. Bombards bombarding that wooden palisade gate. Horsemen heading down south. We got more stone walls being salvaged to help close the flank, but it will be breached before that point. Horseman and Spearman heading to the center. Knights trying to go around, hit the bombards at the back, but they're getting gunned down. We got one slicing onto them. Both sides lost a bombard to the bombards. Spearman and Horseman pushing forward. More of these outposts going down. All the outposts are gone, so no more network of citadels. This gold deposit still only has 1,700 remaining. This one's still untouched. So there's still about 10,000 gold left on the map, but that's about it. There's still a little bit more here. 700, not a whole lot. We do have another town city here, which is good for the also drop-off point. Pagoda here. Guess both the pagodas over there did get torched down. But no relics been exchanged. Bombards push forward. Hitting horsemen push forward, spear in the back line. We got arrow volley there from the Worm Guard Rangers. Focus down some of the hand cannoneers. These units still stepping away, gains good damage. And cannoneers push forward. Right now, the Chinese player has 65 units versus 53 units. Here comes the army value, 14,000 versus 19,000. So the English player still has the value advantage, and both players have a staggeringly high hand cannoneers, 41 versus 37. And the English player does have 13 more hand cannoneers in the build queue, while the Chinese player only has 3. And scraping bottom of resources for all of them. Be careful and collect that wood, that could expose that whole path line. Another arrow volley there to help engage those hand cannoneers. Pink has 2 sacred sites up north. Picking up more of the taxes from that lumber yard. Elite man-at-arms being researched by the English player. The mountain hand cannoneers here is probably not a great idea. We go for a man-at-arms or at least playstyle. Mangonels from both sides would be very nice. In this case, Nest of Bees or mangonels. Arrow slit to upgrade here. Keep has gone down. Pink's units are pushed forward quite a bit. We've got only a handful of Worm Guard Rangers in the back line. Focus down those hand cannoneers. Do use the arrow volley there. English hand cannoneers push forward. 40 for the English player, 41 for the Chinese player. Still both pretty even, based on that aspect. Force them push way forward. Got some spear in the back line. More Worm Guard Rangers now being pulled in the field. Hand cannons firing away. Bombard's firing away. Does look at the outpost. See Pumbaa. Yeah, Pumbaa's still alive right there. Don't think players going to be trying to collect a Pumbaa. Probably the English farms right now are cooking up more food than Boar either way. Horsemen engaging horsemen. These units push right forward. Second site still secured by the English player. The English player right now has over 11,000 food, 19 wood, and over 1,000 gold. So he is basically out of wood. Incendiary is now being researched for the English player. Very nice. We do have 17 gunpowder upgraded by the Chinese player. Forgot to mention that. He got some of his hand cannoneers now. Still the Yuan dynasty, so they do have good mobility. I don't think Ming dynasty is going to be likely anytime soon. Nowhere near enough gold. Chinese players are actually lacking food for the age up. Has plenty of wood at the moment. But that gate went down. Not sure to what. We do have another round of Wormguard Rangers. We've also got 6 Wormguard Footmen. Wormguard Footmen have less melee armor than regular man-at-arms, but they do have a 16 damage attack with a +6 versus cavalry. Their attack speed's a bit slower than man-at-arms, though, but they do also have higher base health. Okay, that mining camp was not taking damage, was it? Must be was forced on the ground, or he was seeing stuff right in front of it. Maybe I'm just going crazy. Hand cannons push right forward. A good number of Wormguard Rangers now in the field, trying to focus on these hand cannoneers. The English hand cannoneers getting some good damage done. The game has now reached the 1 hour point of the game. We now have a Chinese keep here. Monk we need to be trained in order to get this sig site cleaned up. Both sides are out of their monks. Chinese players training a monk now. You can siege on the keep there. To keep on his 8 range, these Wormguard Rangers have 9 range, doing 3 damage per attack. It's not great, but he can at least soften up. He did push some of the Wormguard Rangers into it. Whoops. What was this, gray goo? And Cannoneers firing away. Another volley fire there from the Warguard Rangers. The Chinese player finally reached 100 villagers, even. Chinese players having trouble remaxing. English players maintaining remaxing. Has a massive queue of mana-arms, as well as hand cannoneers, as well as horsemen on the build queue. As well as 2 more queues of Warguard Rangers and a single spearman. Chinese player has a small queue of hand cannoneers and another bombard. Keep here does get found. Gold deposit here still has 6,000 gold. Once the Chinese player sees this, people should realize, hey, I should make a grab for that gold. Keep here in the center now on fire. Villagers trying to repair it on up. I think it's going to be too late. We have another volley fire from the Warguard Rangers. Hand cannoneers push it forward, just leaving hand cannoneers versus hand cannoneers and Warguard Rangers. Warguard Rangers trying to fall back now. Another round of volley fire. We do have these man arms off starting to fall back. Spearmen do get a bit of a spear brace there. Volley fire now activated. He does a good job of start focusing on those hand cannoneers. The Chinese players down 25 hand cannoneers versus 14, so both players lost a good number of hand cannoneers. The Chinese player is now getting a large number of horsemen on the field, has some spearmen now as well. English player is going for more horsemen, more hand cannoneers, more man-at-arms. He has a massive production queue going. He has plenty of food and gold to afford man-at-arms production. Not a whole lot of wood though. Probably wondering why he transitioned to man-at-arms, because he simply doesn't have the wood for spearmen. Warguard Rangers doing a good job picking off more and more of those hand cannoneers. Also straightforward. Looks like the English player has a pretty good advantage in this game, has 4,000 more army value. Oh, we got some Chinese traders in the field, but that trade path's not too great. 79. Looks like they managed to get in the corner over here, so that actually is a decent trade. A usual trade from one corner to the other corner is around 70, so that is actually a good trade path. Man-at-arms heading down south. Spear not the way to counter man-at-arms. Hand cannoneer is definitely a good call, but his gold is, of course, is very finite. His food's also finite as well. Horseman straight forward, mostly microing the hand cannoneers. Of course, got the Great Gatehouse he's sort of falling back to. If he gets on top of the wall, he gets +1 range, which will still not be able to range those Ruin Guard Rangers, who are just an excellent unit right now. He does get close to the Great Gatehouse. He's entering into range. Hits a good number of spearmen. He does have, of course, both these nested beam placements firing away. Hand cannoneers firing away, getting some good work done. Got these hand cannoneers firing away. And thus this pagoda does go down. So that one may not have a relic inside of it, looks like. Arden's Sun still healthy and firing. Hand cannoneers firing away. A horseman trying to engage horseman. Looks like the English player is just going to pull out a win in this game. My apologies, my microphone. Just because, probably largely thanks to the fact how much gold he had sorted up. But the Chinese player, he was stubborn. He did not go down without a fight, that's for sure. Resource collected, you can see here. The English player nearly has 100,000 more collection. Destroyed value is much for the Chinese player. It's been very cost efficient thanks to his extra range hand cannoneers. Simply having more than that is always quite effective. When it comes to the gold collection amount, look at this. 54 versus 113. That is the key difference. Food-wise, English player has to collect up more food while at it by 100,000 looks like, but still pretty even. Stone is in favor of the English player as well. He did have more versatile game. The Chinese player, I think only, I know I saw him up at exactly 100, but I'm not sure he even went above 100 villagers. And the bomb bar does go down. Over here, looks like the product in the sun is starting to go on down. And looks like the English player is just going to pull out a victory. Only a good number of horsemen and hand cannoneers. I wonder if Fire Lancers would have been a good call. Then again, the problem was his lack of gold. Fire Lancers do cost only 20 gold. They have heavy cavalry movement speed even though they're light cavalry. They do have good torch damage, which could have been nice, but wouldn't have been very. I suppose it could have been a good alternative to hitting those keeps, but that's about it. The Chinese players still been doing very well with those hand cannoneers, that's for sure. Look at that, almost 100,000 more destroyed value, but that's simply not enough against the Spirit economy. I wonder. I always wonder if players could play a little bit better around the Imperial Academy's extra tax collection. Like, if they were to plan it out where they say put the Imperial Academy, say, just behind the town center, let's just say right there, they put granary, granary, granary with a 2-tile gap around the Imperial Palace. I wonder how many taxes you can get with that proper placement and actually try to focus on collecting taxes as a gold form of gold income. I think there's just always room for players to maximize it a little better. Though to be fair, there's plenty of taxes. The taxes have either been routinely claimed. I always forget how much taxes you get per unit. It's like equal, similar to the value of the unit deployed, because I provide 4 taxes. It might be better to do it like that around military production structures. Maybe not. I have no idea. It is +4 with the influence of the Imperial Palace Academy as well. Still firing away. The game's still not closed out. English player has 94 units. He has destroyed more value than he has collected. That's actually quite impressive. I don't think I ever... Then again, I haven't really paid attention to the graphs, but he's destroyed more value than he's collected. Has that ever been done before? Granted, it's still a losing situation for him, but still. Yep, it's been a losing situation. He gets knocked out of the game now. This is Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.